Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for All About Android is provided by CacheFly at CACHEFLY.com.
This episode of All About Android is brought to you by 99 Designs, the world's largest graphic design marketplace. 99 Designs connects businesses seeking quality, affordable designs with a community of more than 280,000 graphic designers. Visit 99designs.com/AAA to receive a free Power Pack upgrade valued at $99. And by Prosper. Prosper is a peer-to-peer lending marketplace which connects people who are looking to borrow money with those who have money to lend. Visit prosper.com/twit and receive a $50 Amazon.com gift card when you get a loan. Hello and welcome to another episode of All About Android, episode 153, recorded on Tuesday, March 18th, 2014. We are your weekly source for the latest news, hardware, and apps for the Android faithful. I'm Jason Howell.
I'm Ron Richards.
I'm Gina Trapani.
Yes. And we are back, and we are happy to welcome back to the show. It's been a while. Kevin Toffel, senior writer at GigaOM. Kevin, it's good to have you back, sir.
It's always good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
He's got that fancy glass.
I know. Why on earth would you be wearing what could be considered a wearable on an Android show today? I don't understand.
Because I have If This Then That sending me updates for my Devils hockey game.
Oh, that's pretty important, actually.
I'm on the
That's
East
a
Coast.
good
so,
answer.
Is that really what's happening?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Very cool.
We're losing, though, so that's not awesome.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. So if suddenly, like, in the middle of a really important point, you like jump up and cheer, we'll know exactly what's going on.
What?
Oh, sorry. You're not actually watching the game in glass right now.
No,
Okay.
no, I'm not doing that. But these are the bold frames directly from Google, so I have
Yes.
prescription lenses there. Yeah.
That's
They
fantastic.
do look
Yeah, it
styling.
looks really good.
Oh,
They look bold.
There's the current score. There it is.
Thank you, Brian.
All right.
Now we all know.
Oh.
And how are you liking your frames? Because I know I've heard from a few people. They say definitely an improvement over the original kind of incarnation.
Oh,
of glass.
vast improvement. They're super thin frames. Actually, they're so thin that my eyes are so bad they couldn't fit my prescription in there. So I have contacts for distance vision, and these are the world's most expensive reading glasses because these are progressive bifocals.
Oh boy,
Interesting.
Well, you went all out.
Well, there you go. So
Go big or go home.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
So now here's my question that I ask everybody who gets those things. Are you using glass more?
Yes, but much more, because I used to wear glass over top of my glasses.
Yep.
And it was just too unwieldy, too bulky. I mean, let's put it this way. I mean, this is not going to make me a chick magnet, but before they were just so unwieldy.
Yep.
It was terrible.
Wow.
Yeah, instead of like being a chick repellent, now it's
Right.
just like
No, it's-
neutral,
At
chick
least they're
neutral.
not running away now. You know?
Maybe they're a
My
little
wife still talks
curious.
to me.
Yeah, maybe it can work in your favor.
Definitely less cyborgy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I think they look great. Excellent. Well, we have a lot of interesting stuff to talk about. For once, being the show that records on a Tuesday actually worked out in our favor.
I wonder if they planned that.
I doubt
would like
they
to
planned
know.
that.
I would like to
It's all
know.
about us. It's all about us.
Yeah, totally. Somebody on Google Plus was like, maybe this will happen more. I'm like, nope, don't count on it.
This is one. Two makes a trend.
We'll be discussing Google's vision for Android wearables, Amazon's video streaming device. We have a little bit more of leaked information about that. A very timely update to the Play Store, considering some of the stuff we talked about last week. Cross-platform gaming for Android and iOS, and much more. But who are we kidding? Let's talk about the news Android Wear. Big news.
It's huge and just got announced today, which I'm very, very excited about. And there's actually a lot to unpack here, both on the software side and the hardware side. So let's talk about the software side first. Android Wear is Google's version of Android for wearable computers that would, go from everything from glasses to a jacket to a watch. But all the announcements today focused a lot on smartwatches. So a lot of what Android Wear looks like is kind of what we expected. We've got videos of the interface, which looks a lot like the Google Now card interface. We're seeing basically a watch that connects to your Android device, your phone, and gives you contextual notifications, voice search a la Google Now, fitness and health integration with a wide range of sensors, quote unquote, multi-screen capabilities, which means you can cast to your TV, manage music playlists, etc. Notifications that sync between the device and the watch, so any action on the phone or watch dismisses on the other. Notifications that make a sound or vibrate on your phone will vibrate on the Wear device, that being the smartwatch. Google released the Android Wear SDK, that's the software development kit for developers who want to make their apps Android Wear compatible. That's available today, and it's in a preview, so if you're a developer, you have to opt in and say, hey, I want to get a hold of this preview. And what you get is you get a download to a package that you install with your Android IDE or integrated development environment, and then lets you basically run a simulator or an emulator, which is a software rendition of what the watch in this case would look like and how your app will integrate and interact with that watch. So as you can see, Brian's got the video up now. You can see you getting, Hangout notifications, the really, really attractive interface that looks very Google Now-ish, those like flat white cards with the ability to kind of flip up through the cards and then slide over to the right to go kind of deeper and perform actions on those cards. Very similar to what we see on Google Glass with voice entry. So if you get a text message, you can say reply with your voice. You get notifications of locations nearby, how many calories you've burned, whether or not you should check in for your flight and show you the barcode. Really, really, really cool stuff here. I'm super excited. I'm cannot wait to adapt my app to Android Wear. And so no releases. I mean, no hardware releases. There's nothing actually running this right now that's out in the wild. But the reason why Google releases the SDK first is so that developers can get their apps up to speed. So when it does get released, we'll have lots of cool stuff that we can do with our Android Wear watch.
I wish there was a spy cam watching and showing Ron's reaction this whole time as you've been talking, Gina, because he's pretty much flipping his lid as he watches this video.
I can't contain myself. This is so cool. Seriously,
It is.
Like when
it's the watch we wanted.
This might rival the Google Glass reaction, because when I was watching those videos,
I'm not sure that's a tall order. Right?
Well, no, but this is what I've been waiting for. This is what I wanted. I've been talking about a smartwatch for how many months now, and I'm like, should I get a Pebble or all this sort of stuff? I am so glad I'm waiting, because if this is what we're gonna get, this is exactly what I want. It's a nice interface. It's integrating Google Now, so it's something that you're comfortable with, using photos and all that sort of stuff to get a nice kind of thing. And and what got me, and I don't know who those developers are in that video, the guy with the glasses and the guy with the hoodie, I don't know who they are, but they're my new favorite Rockstar developers, because they are my idols, because they were talking contextual. That's the thing. Yeah. No bells and whistles. It does what it needs to do. It works with your phone. You can see someone calling you. You can send a quick text message. You can see when your next meeting is. Like these examples with the round phone, which, by the way, I wonder in the video if this is actually the watch or if this is some post-production, but that's another thing.
Oh, the
demo. Yeah. Exactly.
I'm guessing that's going on there.
Like I saw some Jaggies around the photo. I'm like, that was late.
I think the screens are simulated, but that is what the Moto 360 watch actually does look like. And they're going to have a Hangout tomorrow to actually show this off and talk about it.
And I can't get it soon enough. Like I want it. And what I think, and then as I was driving up here, I was thinking about it, and this is genius on Google's part, because because I posted on Google Plus to how excited I was about this and that sort of thing. And people are asking in the comments, they're asking some great questions like, what is the battery life going to be, and how is it going to work, whatever. And Google, while they're developing the platform, and they're working with hardware manufacturers, but they're like, let the hardware manufacturers figure that out. Let LG, let Moto, let whomever going to figure out to build like the right device that will utilize this. But they're just worried about the user interface, and they're focusing on the SDK and focusing on all this stuff. And it is gorgeous. And I can't sign me up now. Get me in the alpha test. So
it's really cool. That consumer video that they put out, there's a few different examples of ways that the people use it. The two that struck me is there's a couple people on bikes, and they're riding up to a garage, and one says to the phone okay, Google, open the door, and the door opens, which I was like, okay, that's interesting. The other thing was there were two women dancing, and the watch detected that they were dancing, listened to the song that was on, and told them what song it was that made them dance, which made me go, okay, like any software that makes people dance a little bit more, that's good software right there. So
it's so cool, and the fact that it's got a microphone, so you can speak into it, and you can send text messages or you can talk to it, all that stuff. No camera, like know, because you don't need a camera on your. I'm not gonna go like this to take a picture of me and Jason. Like it's just focused on the contextual use that this second screen can be working with your phone or your desktop or whatever it is in the whole Google kind of infrastructure. It's fantastic. Like in this scenario, like look at this. This guy on the bus, he's holding a cake. He doesn't want to have to take his phone out to go tell Stephanie whether he's close or not.
I mean, he's holding a cake. He's
holding a cake, right? He doesn't want to dig into his pocket to get it. Like, oh, this is great.
Kevin, you wrote about this. I think we all know your answer, but how do you feel? How do you feel about this?
I don't think anybody's more excited than Ron, personally. But
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Yeah. You should be excited, and so should consumers. I'll tell you what. Back in August of last year, I wrote a post saying why I want Google Now on my wrist. Context is king.
Yes.
And this is it. This is what it delivers. Google Glass is one thing because it delivers the same thing, but in kind of an unwieldy fashion that people aren't used to. But people are used to watches. They've been wearing watches for 100 years. This ties everything together between Android and even Chrome to some degree with Google Now. So Google's doing a smart thing on the software side, putting their services in Google Now into play that ties everything together. I mean, I'm thrilled to death. This is exactly what I want. I actually don't wear a smartwatch right now. There's a couple great options out there, but this is what I've wanted. I always said, whoever brings me native Google Now on my wrist is going to get my money first.
Apparently that's Google.
Shocking. But no, Kevin, I'm right there with you. Like, just like the whole funny thing is that like they're seeing like the photos, like meeting with so and so. Like, I will go through and update my contacts and make it like perfect.
I'm happy that you said that because I was like, this really hinges around the fact that those images that it's importing automatically, which sometimes come from Google Plus, and even when they come from Google Plus, still don't look that great or highly pixelated and everything like that. Like, if half the images you get that make it quote unquote beautiful are all pixelated and ugly or empty,
right? They will. But I will like
have to fix that.
Similar to when Android first came out, when they first started supporting those photos, and I went through and I added photos and I did all that, and I haven't since because I've been so busy. But the day I get this watch, my God, that is going to be the most beautiful thing because it looks, and like to see the album art come up or all this, like it's just integrating all those things that the data is out there. It is there for the taking. Although I do wonder what's powering it. How is it getting that data? Is it going to pair with the phone?
Yes.
Well, Well, okay, so this is my one bit of disappointment about this, right? It's like, oh, this is pairing with the phone over Bluetooth, right?
Right.
Which kind of sucks, right? I mean, with Glass, it would, the My Glass app would run down my phone's battery. If you leave your phone in the house and go back to the backyard, you lose the connection. Like, you're still kind of carrying two devices. You have the watch is connected to the phone, it's connected to the data. I mean, I feel like I'm being hard on Google because this really is beautiful and I will absolutely buy one. But I sort of had this kind of wish that the watch would kind of work on its own or not have to be sucking on my phone's battery and data plan.
But then you run into the problem. The main problem in that is always the battery, right? So if it's not dependent on your phone, is it more battery efficient for it to be syncing to your phone via Bluetooth, or is it more battery efficient for it to be doing all of the data and all of that stuff based on an antenna that's built inside the watch, which suddenly makes the watch larger because it's got to fit all those hardware components and a bigger battery in order to do all this stuff? Like, there has to be a give and take somewhere in order to get the device that does the things you want. If it's tied to your phone that you always have in your pocket, then maybe that's a good kind of consolation.
There's a whole other aspect though. Aside from the power, do you really want a SIM card and a data plan for your watch?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, right.
See, that's the trick. I mean, Motorola actually had a nice smartwatch. One of the only smartwatches that I actually bought myself was the Motorola Moto Active about 2 years ago. And Google had that under its wing. And I guess that went to Lenovo with the sale. I'm not really sure. But I love that thing because it had everything in it except for mobile broadband. It had GPS, it had Wi-Fi, it had Bluetooth. I could go for a run. It would do health tracking, and it would automatically sync when it saw my Wi-Fi network. I didn't have to worry about using my phone. It was a standalone device for the most part. But people don't want more data plans and whatnot.
Yeah.
I kind of
Totally
see
agree.
why Google didn't do that.
Yep. No, agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. You know, but so I guess, I mean, you got to trust them to, I mean, I don't want to go negative on this, but you got to trust that they vetted Bluetooth and they've got it working in a way that will be smoothly or whatever, because,
Right.
you know,
If the
aside
battery
from-
only lasts 6 hours, it's a no-go. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
that's a
the
good
battery-
question as to what is the time.
It does all these amazing
Yeah.
things, but if the battery lasts, half your day or even 3/4 of your day, with a watch, you want a battery to last
No,
at the
it's-
very, very minimum morning to night. But people actually expect watches to last even longer than that. They
No,
expect
yeah.
2, 3, 4 days out of these things.
I
And
would
wonder
say
if it's going to get there.
I would say the minimum for me would be 24 hours. It would have to be
Yeah.
able, can I
24.
get up, wear it, get through the day, come home, plug
Right.
it, float it on a charger when I go to sleep. If I can do that, then I'm a happy clam. You know, like
Sure.
give me 2 days, give me 3 days, bonus as far as I'm concerned. If it's less than 24 hours, then there's an issue.
Yeah,
And I
totally.
wonder if there's some sort of power mode or whatever where it just becomes a dumb clock. You know,
Yeah, I
you
don't
know?
know. That's a good question.
But
good
Just
question.
be a watch.
but this is a great start. I mean, if this is what they've cooked up, then it's a great. And I can't wait, to see what the hardware manufacturers come up with.
Speaking of hardware,
Oh, that was a
I like
segue.
that. Thank you
There
for
you go.
that.
That was-
Okay, so there were a couple of related hardware items associated with this. First, of course, there's a circular watch that you were seeing there. That's the Motorola Moto 360 circular display, which I can't say that I've seen in the digital world yet, and for some reason really captivates me.
I love it. Love it. This one's my favorite out of the whole batch.
From what I've read about this, a twist of the wrist can bring certain actions. So, like we saw in the video, you're dancing and you raise your wrist up, and it'll automatically, scan for what the song is. Available this summer in the U.S., then later globally, in a variety of styles, supposedly. So,
Styling.
we know through some press images that you'll be able to change the band at least. I wonder if that's the limit of styles, or I don't know. Moto Maker that?
I
You
would
know?
like to
I
sign
don't
up. I
know.
would like to sign up for the bamboo band.
Yeah, the you and only you.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
The round shape is really,
Yeah.
really compelling because we
Yeah.
haven't seen that on any other watch. It speaks to Android's flexibility around screen sizes. It also, from a developer perspective, makes me go like, oh, the center of the screen has to be your focus. You can't
Yeah.
put a button in the upper right or
Yep.
the upper
Yep.
left, right? Because it might get cut off. That's why we're seeing this sort of Google Now card layout. You could see right there in that image, the time and the weather. That's centered.
It's got to be centered. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, a better question is, how does it work? And can I get a round monitor next? Like, seriously, like this is that like think about it. When have you seen a display that was round?
Hey, this is coming from Mr. Why is every avatar round these days?
Yeah, it totally is. I'm an enigma.
And now you
I'm
know
sorry.
why.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
the watch was always in the
You're
plan.
right. Oh my God. Yeah. Wow.
What I
Probably not.
really like about the Moto 360 is that it looks like an old school watch. Like I feel like
Yeah.
the big takeaway from Google Glass is this has to just look like a regular piece of jewelry that you would just wear. It can't scream like, Google Smart anything. With Google Glass, it's like it looks cyborgy, although Kevin's the new frames don't look as bad, but it just kind of looks cyborgy. The arms don't bend. Like it feels like this whole different thing. That watch looks like a watch like my grandfather would have worn. It's got that kind of old school round thing with the twisty. It looks like you can wind that thing up. Love it.
That's why, like, looking at the videos, the square face ones look more kind of like, hey, it's a mini tablet on your arm. Like
Yeah.
Right, it's a Casio, right? It's like the old school Casio calculator watch, and this doesn't look like that at all.
Yeah.
And the good news here is that one of the Google partners for Android Wear is Fossil, which does make watches. They actually were involved with the Microsoft Spot Watch way back in the day. And some of the executives from Fossil spun off and to do MetaWatch. So there are people here that have some sense of fashion that aren't just going to put some, like you said, a clunky tablet on your wrist. So I have high hopes for this from a fashion standpoint.
It's so cool. All right, what else we
Very
got?
cool. We also have the LG G Watch.
Oh.
You could expect
makes
Google
sense.
Watch, maybe. LG was very
Gwatch.
quiet on the spec.
Watch.
Watch.
Gwatch watch.
There's a
good-
marketing
it's a
gift
good
for you,
letter,
LG,
Reggie.
from me to you. Just call it the Gwatch.
Listen to Ron and you'll be out of
Hey, it
business.
worked for the Swiss in the
There
80s.
There we go. So obviously the LG G Watch or the
Gwatch.
Gwatch is definitely a little bit more on the tradition of what we've seen out of smartwatches, the squarish / rectangularish display, all black in this image on Engadget.
It's very guachy.
Google Now cards obviously appearing there. It looks a little bit different in this version, although I don't know if this is like a skin.
This looks like glass. This looks more like glass than Google
it's
Now.
definitely a little bit more bare. Yeah. Let's see your notification covering up. LG wants this to have a low barrier of entry for developers, so easier to obtain for developers, possibly a lower price point, that sort of thing. Should arrive next quarter with aggressive pricing. So two very different takes. I mean, LG obviously is really snug with Google these days, so it's kind of not surprising. We've heard a lot of rumors leading up till now that LG would be involved in some way with the smart watch effort.
Have we heard anything on price on these? Or?
No.
Nope. So I might be paying $600 for a watch soon.
Yeah, I'd be really surprised if it was that expensive.
So what's the price point?
I'm guessing it's got to be
600.
Yeah, I'm guessing
No.
half, and that
200.
It's got to be half that.
yeah, it's got to be half that.
250.
Yeah,
250.
half
maybe.
that, and that's on the upper end.
So if the Pebble Steel is $250.
And the gear was $199 or $299?
$299.
$299. All right, so
$299.
it sounds like $250, $299 is what it'll be. Will they go aggressive and price it less than $2? There you go.
Yeah, less than 2. Interesting.
I mean, this is an add-on for your phone.
Yeah.
This is an add-on for your phone, So
Well, let's
it's
not
gotta-
minimize it. Let's not.
Well,
Look, Ron wants to believe.
Listen, I really want to make that. I really want to send you home with a watch today, Gina. This is really.
Ron, just send me a check for $600. I'll get you a watch.
All right, great, excellent. I'm doing it right now. Just you take PayPal, or Google Wallet.
Definitely feel like the G Watch is going to be less expensive than the Moto 360. Moto 360 just has a more premium kind of.
It looks to be the early
quality to
winner
it.
out of the.
Yeah, I mean, how you see the two,
Look
and
at
one of
that.
them you feel like you've seen before, and then one of them, even though you've seen round watches forever, you haven't seen round watches with a digital display, and that's just different enough to be captivating.
And they're not.
Clearly, Moto has been working with Google on this for
Yeah.
a while, right? 'Cause this all went down sort of before the sale.
It's funny because LG actually said they are the lead partner here, which is kind of interesting to me considering Moto's stance in Google. And they said they will have the first one out. So theirs is due out in the second quarter. Moto 360 says by summer. So I suspect at Google I/O we'll actually see LG's watch, maybe Moto's, but LG's for sure. It's interesting on timing and partnership and all that stuff. I don't know what they're going to do.
Interesting. Yeah, I was going to say, we're all going to have these on our wrists by Google I/O or at Google I/O, right? I mean, second quarter is June.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
right around the
in
corner.
a couple of weeks, and if you think about it, a couple of weeks through June, and the interesting thing is that LG specifically said this will work with a range of Android devices, a range of Android smartphones. That's totally different, obviously, than what Samsung's been doing. So that's also good news, I think.
Yes, and
Also key.
And by the way, also listed as partners, HTC, Asus. We mentioned Fossil, of course, although we don't have any details on an actual phone. But that's interesting, a Fossil Android watch. And then Samsung is also a partner. But speaking of Samsung,
The question might be, what does this mean about Samsung?
Yeah, well, there we go. Yeah,
there you go. No, but you might wonder, there's some other folks out there who are established in the smartwatch world, whether it's Samsung or Pebble or whatever. And so looking for the reactions from those. Samsung unveiled information for the Tizen SDK for wearable that enables developers to get in on their Gear line starting yesterday. So I don't know if they were trying to get ahead of this or what the thought was, just an odd coincidence. But if for some reason you really like Tizen and you've thrown your lot in Samsung, you're a developer, now they've got their, hey guys, we got our SDK over here.
I know you can't help but feel like a little bit of that fire has escaped.
Yeah, and then the scrappy kind of underdog in the startup world of smartwatches with Pebble. Pebble founder Eric M. Already he told Android Central that he's excited about the announcement. He said it's exciting to see this market grow so quickly, enabling more interesting use cases and keeping all of us laser focused on creating the very best user experiences we can. So of course he's going to be like, this is great for us. People, more people will be adopting smartwatches. And,
Great, it's great for us. Means that they have reason to up their game.
Yeah, exactly.
And Pebble's been doing a great job already, but now they have even more reason to do an even better job.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what comes out of that.
See if they survive. I mean, It's
Well, they have the whole iOS side, don't forget.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
That's pretty darn important.
good point. Yeah.
Absolutely. That is Android Wear.
It is Android Wear. Where is Android? Where?
Where are you, Android?
Where? Software.
Cool. I think it's pretty interesting stuff. We do have an email, although it's possible that some of these questions we've already kind of tackled, Gina.
Yeah, I guess we tackled a couple of them, if not all of them. I don't know. Let's do it.
Let's go. Let's go for it.
Questions real quick. There's an
Yeah.
email from Todd Polson, who said he really hopes that we covered Android Wear. Well, of course. And that Ron is here because he'd be super excited about it.
I'm so excited.
And he delivered. He totally delivered. So fuzzy. But Todd's got a couple of questions. First thing Todd wants to know is, are we still a way off from having a good form factor? The Moto 360 looks good, but is it too thick? Is Apple's secret weapon a leap in streamlined design? It's kind of too early to say, Todd. I mean, we haven't actually seen the device yet. Thickness didn't occur to me looking at the Moto 360. But look, Apple's secret weapon has always been good design. So I'd never put Apple out of the game when it comes to design.
Well, I think the reaction to the Moto 360 is good, and also maybe to the Watch is just the size of it, because they do look big. And I'm trying to look it up. I'm trying to find the name of this watch brand. But a couple friends of mine in LA that happen to work in entertainment, they've got the biggest dang watches you've ever seen. It's like a style of watch that are like these big jangly, and I think it's kind of like I don't know what the word.
Junky watches are a thing.
Yeah, no, but it's a status symbol, and they're like, hey, look how big this watch is, or whatever, and they're all gold and all that sort of stuff. But they're kind of, again, LA entertainment industry kind of bleeding edge of stylish. I think the direction, not that big, but still, but pretty big. I think we're, as a society, we're getting more accepting of larger watches. So I don't think the form factor will be too big. So.
Flavor Flav for your wrist.
Flavor Flav, yeah.
Exactly. And the other part is watches are really personal. So Android's model of partnering with lots of different hardware manufacturers, from Fossil to whatever, Rolex or whatever, means that we're going to have lots of different watches to choose from, right? Yeah. Whereas the Apple model is that they issue a watch, and that's the watch, right? I mean, presumably that's what they've done so far. Right. You can't get an iPhone that looks any different. So I think that'll actually work against them, even though I think that if Apple launches a smartwatch, it is going to be beautiful. Should we run through the rest of these questions?
Let's do it.
Todd's second question: given that the partner list includes Samsung, does everyone think this is why they renamed Samsung Gear to not have the word Galaxy in it? Save that for an Android Gear compatible model with similar form factor. I don't know. Given the Tizen news, I don't know if I see Samsung saving up for Android Wear. Kevin, what do you think?
Galaxy has always been Android, so I can kind of see it staying with Android. I don't think they did it because they were switching to Tizen or anything. I kind of think they did it because the Galaxy Gear itself was not that great. So Gear 2.
Distance.
Yeah, distance. Yeah. Exactly.
That's a really good point.
And Todd's last question was, all the watches appear to focus on fitness, all smartwatches, released and unreleased. And the Google Watch appears to have the standard basic set. With everyone in the game, all manufacturers in the game, is Apple's other secret weapon sensors that will leapfrog what other fitness mobile hardware can do. Given Google's experimentation with sensor technology, does the group think that sensors may be the next arms race for mobile? I think this is a really good question, actually.
That's a great question. Yeah, that's a really good one.
Especially considering some of the leaks that we've seen about, I think it was called HealthBook for iOS, and just the amount of sensors that would be required in order to satisfy half the stuff that's registered in HealthBook. I mean, if Apple came out with a watch that integrated sensors that I don't even know, because I haven't, because I'm not privy to these types of sensors that report those kinds of things, those deeper kind of health-related things, I think that's a big differentiator.
Well, think about what Google's doing with those contact lenses for diabetics.
Sure.
Those kind of products will, might start eking their way into the consumer lines. And then, I think that, I don't know if it's going to be an arms race per se, but it's definitely, I mean, when you think about
an arms race.
But this is why it's Android Wear. This is why it's Android for wearables, not Android for watches.
Yeah,
right. And
exactly.
They're making this platform, the software platform, able to accommodate lots of different sensors.
When I get my Android jacket, I'm down. I'm ready. I'm ready for my Android jacket. I don't know what it's going to do, but I'm going to love it.
Gina, I think you just hit the key. This is really a software platform. It's going to be up to the hardware partners to decide if they're going to throw in extra sensors or not. Sensors are going to make the watches thicker. Again, I go back to that Moto Active because it had every sensor under the sun. I loved it. I wish it had Google Now. It doesn't. Do I want Google Now with a GPS? Absolutely, because I want to go run with the same watch that runs Android Wear and go track my runs and have them sync up and all that. But it's going to be up to manufacturers, I think, to differentiate in that way.
Mm-hmm. Interesting
Agreed.
stuff. All right, and thank you, Todd, for the questions. Very good questions and very timely. Let's take a minute and thank our first sponsor of today's episode. That would be 99 Designs. Welcome these guys back to the show. Are you dreaming about the perfect logo or a website design or anything like that? And you don't know how to get started. If you're worried about budgets, all that kind of stuff, 99 Designs is here to help you. 99 Designs is the world's largest graphic design marketplace. They make it easy to get a design that you love. You just go to their website, tell them all about the design that you need for your particular project, whatever you happen to be working with, and pick a price package that works for you. And then things get really interesting. Designers from all over the globe are going to submit awesome designs directly to you through 99 Designs, and you're going to give them feedback based on what you see. You're going to get a wealth of options here. That's kind of what it's all about. Within a week, you'll pick your favorite, and you'll be the proud owner of a gorgeous new design tailor-made for your project. Pretty cool stuff. With over 270,000 graphic designers, actually that's 280,000 graphic designers at your fingertips, there's no limit to what you can get designed. You can boost your brand's visibility. Things like a t-shirt, car wrap design, drive more traffic with a sleek new banner ad on your page or your landing page. You can redesign your social network pages. You can do all this kind of stuff through 99 Designs. It's all about empowering people who know how to make great designs, who know have their chops in graphic design. And if you don't, hire somebody else to do it. And better yet, pick from a sea of people that know how to do it. Projects start at just $199, and your happiness is always 100% guaranteed. So here's what you can do if this sounds great to you. Visit 99designs.com/AAA. There you will get a $99 power pack of services for free. And a power pack gives you more designer time and attention. 99 Designs will bold, highlight, and feature your design project in the 99 Designs marketplace, and you'll also get nearly twice as many designs. It's all there. 99designs.com/AAA is where you got to go. We thank 99 Designs for their continued support of All About Android. If you're a developer, an Android developer, or even iOS developer, whatever, and you don't have the design chops, this is a great place to go to kind of get that idea for your app as well. So check it out, 99designs.com/AAA. All right.
I found the watch brand I was trying to talk about. Yeah, it's called Nixon watches.
Yeah,
Brian, I put the link in the chat thing. Their website doesn't really do it justice because they're not on arms, but these are enormous watches. So anyway, sorry, it was going to kill me until I found it. Yeah, if you scroll down, like way down to the chrono leather one, that's one.
Chrono leather.
Yeah, right there. Yeah, about right there. Yeah. See, they get those are really big and bulky, and so
very chrono.
They sell these for lots of money.
That's some impressive hardware. You know what else is impressive? The hardware segment.
This is the segue episode.
I'd rate that like a 4 out of 10.
No, that was better. No, I would have given
pretty good.
I would have given that like a 6.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Thanks for making me feel better.
Yeah.
Amazon. We've been talking a lot about their streaming device, and it turns out we have, a few rumors that seem to point to being possibilities here, especially when the Wall Street Journal gets in on the fun. Wall Street Journal reporting people familiar with the plans is saying that the device will ship early April. That's not very far from now. That's like next month, actually. Selling through its site as well as Best Buy. Price incentives to be given to Prime members, though no pricing information is available quite yet. Then we have TechCrunch reporting that we can expect something more akin to the Chromecast than to something like a Roku or an Apple TV, maybe a dongle form factor. Game streaming would happen through this device, which is also kind of interesting how the mechanics of that are going to work. Would happen in a way similar to OnLive in that 30 frames per second video will stream to the device direct from Amazon's massive, farm of servers, essentially. And then, that's not funny, posted images of the supposed Amazon Bluetooth gaming controller. This is very interesting here. It's complete with media control buttons, so you could kind of imagine sitting on your couch using the media control buttons to control video playback, and basically, alongside just your typical kind of gaming controllers, to analog controllers, a digital controller. Looks a lot like kind of the Xbox controllers, although very bulky.
That's big. That's got prototype written all over it.
Yeah, it certainly does feel kind of prototypey.
Yeah,
but
kind of like the very first Kindle.
Yeah, fair enough. Are we excited? I mean, obviously, this would be, from the reports, is running Android. It would have kind of gaming, I would imagine, available through Amazon's own app store and beyond. Are we excited? What do we think?
If you're an Amazon customer, I think
Do you think you have to be an Amazon customer to want an Amazon streaming box?
I think it's predisposed for it.
Yeah.
I mean, similar to the way the Kindle Fire and all that stuff.
Because it can run other things, supposedly. It can do the Netflix, and it can do...
Sure, but the whole reason why Amazon does this is because they have this baked-in population of millions of people who buy everything from them. Mm-hmm. So it makes sense, like if they've been on a fence, they don't know what a Roku is, or they don't, whatever. Oh, it's an Amazon box. Oh, cool, I can do this stuff, so... I don't know if it's enough to put me over for it, but I can see somebody doing it. So.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here because, because I can't think of any smart TV that I've looked at, or we've purchased a few in the last couple of years. The Xbox One we have in the house, they all already do the Amazon stuff. They already do gaming. The Amazon Bluetooth gaming thing, that looks like it ties into Amazon Game Circle, and I don't know that Android games on TVs just haven't taken off, so I don't really see a big play there. I just don't see enough of a value add. I mean, unless they're going to give it to you for free, or part of Prime. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I feels like this is definitely part of Prime. This is going to be like, you join Prime, here's this dongle, plug it into your TV, and now you can stream whatever you want from the, the instant, the Amazon, the Prime Instant library, right? I mean, that's part of what you get with Prime. And I guess that makes sense. I mean, I don't know. I haven't had a whole lot of luck using Prime on the devices that I have, Amazon Instant Streaming Video. So I use Netflix and Google Play and all that. I mean, you can't really cast from your Android device. I use the Chromecast a lot. Mm-hmm. I think everybody who watches the show knows how much I love the Chromecast. And once you dongle, you never go back, just to be clear. So I do want this to be a dongle. But I feel like on Google TV, the Amazon Instant Video didn't work well. Like, casting the tab is slow and choppy. It's not a great experience.
Not to jump all over you, but Google TV, proud user. I use Amazon Prime streaming all the time. In fact, when I use the Primetime app to search for a movie and it's come up on Google Play or comes up on Amazon, oftentimes if it's free streaming on Amazon Prime versus having to pay for it on Google Play, or sometimes it's cheaper on Amazon, I will go that route. The HTML5 video player works fine in the browser. Pop it full screen. I never notice a difference. I haven't had a single problem in over a year now with it. So.
I had the crappier Google TV than you did.
Yep.
I was using the Logitech Review for a really, really long time. So you have a better Google TV. So it was probably a better experience. But you were not using the native Amazon Instant.
No, there's no app. There's no app. It's totally, it throws you to the browser. And it's a little awkward because you got to use the little thumb thing to go click and whatever. It could be better.
Sounds like a nightmare.
It could be better, but the video quality is fine. And once it plays, you don't notice for an hour and a half after the 2 minutes of trying to do that. And so if they've got it all in their box. And the thing is to play devil's advocate to the devil's advocate is that you're right. All these services and all this stuff is out there. If you have an Xbox or if you have a Roku or whatever you have, but there's still people who don't. And there are people who, and Amazon's got to run the numbers to say this is worthwhile to do it. I don't think they're going to give it away with Prime. They might discount it. I mean, I know they just raised the amount of Prime from $79 to $99.
Yep.
So that would be a nice little value add. But I can't imagine they're going to do it. They're going to make this as cheap as possible, and people will buy it because people will just buy. They blindly will buy Amazon. So. I think that's really what's going to happen. And whether they're not going to be the best device out there, but they proved with the Kindle Fire, you don't need to make the best device to sell it.
You just need
Right, you just have to
dedicated.
give
You know,
people who are in the ecosystem.
I do agree with Kevin on the Android gaming thing. Like, we didn't really talk much about Ouya kind of imploding. But Ouya
really
got,
is.
they got out of the device game, and because it just didn't take off. Android gaming on the TV, like we talked about, never really crossed over because you never had that key game release or that key kind of innovation that made it something I had to have. So I don't,
Or something that's much different from the thing you have in your pocket, that you're carrying around every day in your pocket with a smartphone.
But I guarantee you, there's thousands of people who would never think to buy anything to hook up to their TV, use Amazon, will buy it and be like, oh, I can play Angry Birds, and we'll do it, right?
It always comes back around to Angry Birds, doesn't it?
It seems like that's an incidental feature, like this cast screen option that actually keeps popping up on my phone but never works. Like, I think that's just going to be a thing where people are going to be just used to the idea of like being able to throw their phone screen up onto their phone screen up onto the TV and use that for lots of different reasons, like going through that day's pictures or playing Angry Birds or or whatever it is. I mean, what would make this Amazon thing really interesting, and I'm actually not sure how open the Chromecast SDK and API is, but if it supported Chromecast apps, as well as an Amazon proprietary streaming API, that would be kind of amazing. I mean, it's not going to happen, but it would be really amazing because it would kind of supersede the Chromecast.
Well,
We can't even get instant video on Amazon on Android devices, so yeah, that's not happening.
Yeah. I had a moment. I wanted a dream just for a moment.
Good dream. I support your dream.
I support that too, actually.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
well, you mentioned something that's not going to happen, and I'll tell you something else that's not going to happen. Do you remember back at CES, one of our most kind of interesting devices that we were curious about was the tablet from the Asus Transformer Book Duet TD300 that would run Windows 8.1 and Android at the same time and be able to flip OSs with the touch of a button? Remember that one?
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yep.
Yeah, that was interesting.
It's scrapped.
Oh,
It's no
okay.
more. It's gone. So sources told the Wall Street Journal that Asus Tech has faced serious pushback from both Google and Microsoft that ultimately resulted in the company scrapping its plans to release the device to the public. It was originally scheduled to go on sale during the first half of the year. The device had a new feature called Instant Switch that would allow you to switch between OSs with a single click. And also, Asus Tech will stop selling the previously released Transformer AIO P1801 and the P1802 all-in-one PCs due to Microsoft's new policy regarding dual OS devices. So serious pushback from both
a little
makers.
bit of friction there.
No, you can't do that. No, we can't.
So, okay, so the big picture here, how many people, like who is this affecting?
No
There were
one.
a lot of people that wanted to dual boot Windows 8 and Android. I'm not saying
Intel.
that it doesn't exist.
Yeah,
affects
Intel. That's who it's affecting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I suppose so.
I spent a half an hour with that device at CES, and I use a Chromebook full time, so it's not like this jumped out at me like I gotta have it because it's Windows and Android. But it was interesting to me, and the implementation was actually pretty good. It was better, I thought, than BlueStacks, which lets you run Android apps on Windows, and I was impressed. And they got a hand slap, and again, the big loser I think is Intel because they just wanted to try and sneak in to this Android and Windows play both sides of the fence kind of thing, and it's not happening.
They flew too close to the sun. That's basically what happened here.
Like Icarus.
Perseus.
They got close. They got close. They're like, it runs both OSs. This is amazing. Surely they'll allow it. Look at that. There's a
See?
button.
It's a
It's
button.
a button with the
There's a
Windows
button
logo and the Android logo.
Android.
Why would you ever need to do this? I don't understand.
Somebody has the need for this. I want to hear the use case.
Oh, it's
That video is
amazing.
amazing. Yes.
It's
And
tragic.
I want that button.
No, it's.
I don't need the
Yeah.
device. I just need that.
I want the
button.
T-shirt. I want a T-shirt with
Yes.
the button. This product will now go in the Consumer Product Hall of Fame along with the Tucker car.
Yes,
and
if
like
you have
all
one
the,
of these old devices
Yeah.
that was discontinued for this very reason. You've got a
Exactly.
collector's item.
Exactly.
It's probably about as valuable as my Nexus Q. So
Oh yeah.
No, I don't think the Nexus Q. No, I don't think the Nexus Q is the same type of product because this is a specific product that is innovative, that is different, that challenges the norms and shakes people's feathers. Clearly, this went all the way up to the top at Microsoft and at Google, and they killed it. Like now I really want one of these. Like I want, like if anybody works at Asus, I would like one.
That's it. It's a laptop for rabble rousers.
Yeah,
That was the
exactly.
target audience.
It's like
I'm checking eBay right now.
Yeah, it's like listen, someone at Asus is like, they're making you pick an OS. You don't have to pick. You can just have both. And they're like, he's up all night working on it, and then
you know one guy was like working on the triple boot OS.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, spend a third of your time just downloading app and operating system updates.
Right,
Just-
yeah, exactly. I just
a
picture
feature.
I picture like a meeting in a parking lot with a guy smoking in a jacket and like, listen, you're in too deep. And it's just like, no, we're gonna make this button. I love it. This is a movie. Someone needs to write this movie. There you go.
Nerdiest movie ever.
Nerdiest movie ever. All right.
All right, Gina, you're a big fan of Chromecast, so lucky you got the Chromecast story.
I am. One last bit of hardware news, which is that Google just announced that Chromecast will be available for customers across the pond. The UK, France, Germany, Spain, Italy, the Netherlands, Norway, Sweden, Denmark, and Finland starting today. The cost is €30, which Google tells me converts to about $42 right now. So about the same price as here in the US. And now our friends in Europe can enjoy the wonders of the Chromecast as well.
It's about time.
About time. Enjoy, friends.
All right.
All right.
So we got another email from Rill from Wisconsin, who says, "Hey crew, and especially Ron." All right, here it comes.
Okay, well there we go.
Here it comes. I'm getting a wrist slapping. Rill says, "A gentle reminder for those of us who are blind and depend on text-to-speech to use our smartphones. Upgrading the text-to-speech can be very important. Good, clear text-to-speach makes using a phone more pleasurable, and there will be fewer mistakes or lack of clarity. Try using TalkBack for a few hours and you'll see. I mean, hear what I'm talking about." Like what he did there. You can enable TalkBack in accessibility under settings. I'm particularly interested to follow the Samsung Galaxy Core Advance, since Samsung is releasing accessories aimed at the visually impaired community. And while I'm writing to all Twit hosts, I'm a grandmother who uses a smartphone and programs on a Raspberry Pi. Some of us old folks know our way around.
Boom!
Bam!
Nice.
Bam.
Very
Wow.
nice.
Take that.
Tip of my hat, Rill.
Thank
You're
you,
right.
Rill.
Any jokes that I might have made about text-to-speech and the large file size of the premium voices were not aimed to work against the visually impaired, and I apologize. I understand how important that is, and absolutely accessibility is great, and hearing a crystal clear voice is fine. It was just kind of funny that it was a big file. That's all. Sorry.
Did you guys actually see what Samsung has brought to the Galaxy Core Advance in terms of what Rill was talking about? Because that was just announced this week, and I'm sitting here going, wow, for once Samsung is actually innovating. I think this is really good stuff.
Well, and they're bringing it to a low, what could be considered a low-end device. It's not innovation on their top of the line. They're addressing kind of the lower end spectrum of their lineup, which I think is also very interesting. Right, 3 hardware pieces. I'm trying to remember exactly what they were because it was towards the end of last week that they were announced. It's not on the rundown.
There was an ultrasonic case that would let you see up to 2 meters away, or let the phone actually see objects or people up to 2 meters away. There was a stand that you put your phone on, and it would scan OCR, read text aloud for you. And then there was the NFC tags. You could stick these tags on items and then record notes about the items. So that way you just put your phone on the NFC tag, hear back the note, and remember whatever it was you needed to record. So really good stuff, I thought, from Samsung.
And that stuff is really cool, and we tend to look past it because it really is only, it affects that group that needs it. For any sort of impaired or folks that are really focused on accessibility options. It's kind of something I know I've read about it, but I didn't stop and look at it because it's like, oh, whatever. But that really is great innovation, and it's a good example of what can be done with the devices in order to enrich someone's life. When you're visually impaired or hearing impaired or whatever it might be, to have these devices be able to open up a whole world to you is fantastic. So.
Absolutely.
So thanks, Rill. And please, we want to write in more about what you're doing with your Raspberry Pi and stuff like that. That's really awesome. That's great. So
Brian, I'm sure, is very curious too. Who knows? Maybe you'll make it on an episode of Know How.
Yeah, there you go. I think we just booked it. I think we just made it happen.
It's in the plan.
All right, Brian, you're on it.
All
All right.
All right, let's take another break and thank our other sponsor of today's episode. If you knew that in 72 hours you'd have $35,000 to cover your needs, what would you do? Would you pay off high-rate credit cards? Would you start a business? Do that home improvement project? Fill out an easy online application with Prosper. All you need to do is provide a few details, see a rate online, almost instantly. We're talking about Prosper, of course, here. Prosper offers low fixed rates, unsecured personal loans with no collateral required, and has multi-year terms available. I'm sure you guys are sick of hearing me talk about it, but I got a new house, and the things that we need to do to this house, it's kind of an intimidating list. We need a new heater that's been there since 1978, landscaping like crazy, this little thing called a kitchen remodel, need to do all these things. And, by using Prosper's peer-to-peer lending service, it makes things like this just a lot more accessible, a lot more easy to achieve here. Prosper is actually Silicon Valley's answer to personal loans. With Prosper's innovative peer-to-peer lending process, there are no outrageous fees, no raising interest rates, and you'll never set foot in a bank. Prosper has more than 2 million members, lenders and borrowers, and over $900 million in funded loans. And peer-to-peer lending, it's essentially distributed funding of your loan. It makes total sense, especially for, us tech geeks. Take what you know about peer-to-peer services online, IM, content delivery, file sharing, streaming media, and apply that to the financial world, and that's kind of what you have here. Peers lending that money to you thanks to Prosper. Just go to prosper.com/twit to check your rate instantly without affecting your credit score. And for a limited time, Prosper is offering Twit viewers a $50 Amazon.com gift card when you get a loan. Go to prosper.com/twit. That's a special site just for our viewers. Up to $35,000 in just 3 days and receive a $50 Amazon.com gift card when you get a loan. Prosper.com is not affiliated with Amazon. For gift card details, visit prosper.com/twit. And we thank Prosper for your continued support of All About Android. All right. Should we get into apps? Yes, let's do it.
That is a question.
I didn't need to ask that question.
Should we?
I knew we were going to.
I got an idea.
Yeah?
Let's go and ask some apps. Let's check out some apps. So San Francisco has been abuzz this week with the game GDC, Games Developer Conference, that's currently going on. It's the Google I/O for game developers. Independent of platform, all platforms. Lots of parties, lots of taxis. It's very hard to get a taxi again, the usual kind of thing that happens in San Francisco.
Probably going to get sick at the end of it, right?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, exactly. I can't tell you. Yeah, numerous party invites I've turned down. 'Cause I'm old.
And popular, apparently.
Yeah, well,
And popular. I was
Yeah.
gonna say, don't brag too much.
yeah, I'm actually huge in the gaming industry. I don't think you guys realize that. It's a
You're
whole
right.
other world.
You're right.
Yeah,
I didn't realize
You
that.
told them you had a podcast to do?
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
No, but anyway, so of course the Google Android team showed up and had some stuff to offer the GDC folks. They made an announcement this week that the new version of Play Game Services cross-platform multiplayer support will enable Android and iOS players the ability to sync together, meaning developers don't have to rely on their own servers to do this.
Pretty awesome.
So this is a really great way to kind of provide your game to a wider audience. Your friend has an iPhone, you have an Android phone, now you guys can play. That's kind of the crossing the aisle that we always hope for. So it's nice to see that they've done that. Also announced at GDC were updates to the Unity plugin that supports these changes, a new Play Game C++ software developer kit that should help with the cross-platform development, new game categories, a lot of new game categories, actually. If you looked at them, there's like up to 18 different game categories, more analytics, and game GIFs of virtual in-game objects. So the Android game kind of platform is growing. So nice to see that.
Yeah, kind of having the Play Game services on iOS, that's kind of a big deal. I mean, do we think a lot of developers maybe that are iOS first before Android, are they going to buy into this, or?
That's the real question.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope so.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I don't want to worry about if my friends have an iPhone or not if I want to play an Android game with them, quite honestly. So I think this is awesome. Will developers, embrace it? You know what? I think they should. It'll boost engagement. It could help them for freemium type approaches. I love it.
Well, and I think, and the thing is, the key thing here is that they're saying that they can, because they can do this now.
Yeah,
I mean, they
just have to really shoulder all the work themselves in order to make it happen.
Exactly. So now Google is kind of stepping in and saying, okay, now we're going to make it even easier for you to do this. And it's a huge aspect of the business that a small developer might not want to have to worry about, and just plug into Google Play Services and boom, it works. So it's good stuff.
All right, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Gina, you have Ron's favorite topic, Hangouts.
Talk about
This
Google
is a
Voice.
big wait. This is they're talking about burying the lead. I thought you'd be all over this one, Jason. I mean, Gina, please tell us. I'm waiting for Jason's head to explode.
Google Voice. We've got some news that some may interpret as bad about Google Voice, but let's talk about that. So 9 to 5 Google says that word on the street, this is a rumor, that Google Voice, the app, Google Voice, the Android app, will soon be integrated into Hangouts. This isn't too surprising. We've seen Google folding apps like Messenger, Talk, and Messaging into Hangouts already, so that kind of makes sense, right? Hangouts was always supposed to be the unified messaging app. We've already heard from Google that the plan is to integrate Google Voice into Hangouts in the future, and apparently that time is near and could possibly be revealed at Google I/O this June. This doesn't necessarily mean that Google Voice, the service, is going away, just that the app is likely to become a piece of Hangouts. So one less icon on our Android devices. I'm worried about this. I don't know. Should I pass this off, or Ron, talk to us?
Well,
Jason, talk to us.
I'm detecting, like, I've got two thoughts. One is that saw this coming a mile away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And two, are we so past the point of reacting to this, or like, oh yeah, it's become shrug-worthy, Mr. Howell?
Well, I don't know how I guess afraid of this I am yet. It really depends on what it means by Google Voice is becoming a part of Hangouts. If the service is staying the same, if I can still have my number and redirect it in, to multiple devices, but it's being integrated into Hangouts, then I'm not worried. If by doing so it removes a lot of the functionality that I'm used to having in Google Voice, then yeah, I'm worried. But we don't really know that yet.
That's the question, is that how much of what, because Google Hangouts and Google Voice, there is a bit of overlap. There's some overlap. But what will they keep? But here's a question. Let's say they're going to keep all the existing functionality and also support MMS.
Well, that'd be one of those things like pigs are flying at that point if suddenly Google Voice supports MMS.
You're asking for a bit much there, I think.
As much as we would all love.
Flying too close to the sun. That's all we do on the show now. This is
the devil's. Go ahead, Gina.
No, go ahead, Kevin.
I was going to say the devil is in the details, and we really don't know them yet. And I saw this. I didn't get bent out of shape because last May they didn't talk about Google Voice at all at Google I/O, not one bit. And right after that, some of us questioned that, like, what's going on with Google Voice? And let me see if I get his name right. Nikhil Singhai. He's the product manager for Google's real-time communication services. He said back then, Hangouts is designed to be the future of Google Voice, and making receiving phone calls is just the beginning. Future versions of Hangouts will integrate Google Voice more seamlessly. Again, no details, but we kind of saw this coming. So is it going to be... Are they going to turn this Google Voice into a voice over IP service now? Because it's really not now. It's traditional cellular. I don't think that's a bad thing if they do.
I love that, actually.
Yeah. So I'm not panicking yet because I want to see what they're going to do.
Yeah, exactly. The writing was kind of on the wall that it was going to happen. It's just to what degree?
Yeah. This writing's been on the wall. The problem is that Google does not have a good track record of porting all the features of the things into Hangouts, right? Like, we all saw what happened with XMPP, right? We saw what happened with Jabber and XMPP and Google Talk, and there was confusion and things didn't quite work the same way. And so I'm concerned because I live in Google Voice. I mean, I've been using Google Voice since before it was, since it was Grand Central, and it is my main number, and I haven't used my phone's voicemail system or my phone's native number for years. So I'm a little concerned. I mean, my calls are now coming through Google Hangouts. My computer rang yesterday, and I was like, "What is happening?" And it was like, "Oh, this is a Google Voice call coming through Hangouts." Cool. Well, that totally worked. I mean, what's interesting to me about this is that Hangouts ships by default in Android, and if it incorporates all of Voice's features, that means that Hangouts is going to have a voicemail service and potentially ship with a Google number on every new phone. Think about that. Carriers are not going to like that. If they really do that, that's gutsy. And I'm pretty happy about that. I mean, I love the idea of a device agnostic phone number, particularly, for devices that don't necessarily have cell phone. If it is a complete, VoIP product, we can have any device ring through Google, and it really doesn't matter what our carrier, what carrier it is or what our service is like. So that's all really kind of interesting stuff.
I completely agree with you. And to be honest, carriers should already be worried because Google can port a number in or out of Google Voice. I have a custom Google number. My name is my Google Voice number, so, and that's the number I give to everybody. Carriers, I don't deal with the carriers anymore. And
Yep.
it's too late for them to be worried. Google already snatched control to some extent here.
Yeah. And
But we opted into that. I mean to get
True.
to do that, like we had to know about voice, we had to set it up, we had to know how to set the settings to forward
Right.
the calls and blah blah blah. Like there was a lot of, elbow grease involved, and we're nerds and we did it, right? But this is like, if this is all built into Hangouts and ships by default in Android, a lot more people are going to be using this. And I think that's what will really get the carriers kind of worried.
I'm going to make a prediction, and I think Jason knows where I'm going with this. I think that they are going to fold. This is my crazy, no basis prediction. They're going to grandfather in all your Google Voice numbers into Hangouts, but new users will not be able to pick their own new phone number and use that aspect of Google Voice. That is my prediction, because of the point that Kevin made about the carriers and all that sort of stuff and how they're trying to team up with them closer, and this kind of works against them and all that sort of stuff,
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like that could be a possibility. But Gina, when you were just talking there, what you said made me think, okay, there probably are big changes coming to voice, because I don't think Google, if the scenario that you laid out is too complicated for most people, I think.
Exactly.
Suddenly you get Hangouts and, it has this extra number that you can do. And, the carriers might be scared of that. But most people are going to be like, whoa, you lost me at this new number.
The moment I try to
That's
explain to my
integrated-
mother that,
yes, exactly.
You know how you went to Verizon, you have a phone number? Okay, great. Now you're going to have another number, and that number is going to forward to that number, but no one's going to know the first
no
number.
way they'll do that.
No way. Yep. No way.
So you're probably right. There will be there are probably going to be changes to Google Voice in some way if the folding takes place.
And do you remember when Grand Central came out and it blew our minds?
Yes.
Right?
I remember writing these gushy like life hacker posts in 2006 about
How
like,
Grand Central will change your
revolutionary
life and all
it
stuff
was.
like that. Guess what? They flew too close to
totally.
the sun. There you go. It's another case.
Oh. I sense a theme. Here.
A little bit of a theme, yeah. All right. Let's tackle this final story in apps, actually relating to last week. We have a voicemail to kind of lead it off here. It's okay, Brian. Sorry.
Just listening to your most recent show where you're talking about the lady suing because her child got in and made some payments on apps. Unfortunately, the onus really lies on the parent on that. I'm a parent of 2 kids myself. I had a similar situation happen with my cable provider where my children rented on-demand movies. Guess what happened? I paid for those on-demand movies, and then I sent parental control, so my children could not do that. Education through payment. Sometimes that's what happens to make us learn. I think there's way too much of somebody wasn't holding my hand, so why do I have to deal with this anymore? And we're adults, we're parents. We need to get over it, and we need to take some responsibility. Anyway, love the show. You guys are doing great, and thanks for taking my call. Bye.
Thanks, Anonymous.
Bravo, Anonymous.
Yeah.
Good point. Well made.
Oh,
I
sorry.
can sympathize. I own $350 worth of digital fish from some app game that my daughter bought 3 years ago that we never got reimbursed for. So,
Ouch.
But did you get your digital fish?
I haven't seen them, but I'm allegedly they're in the house somewhere.
Floating around somewhere.
I can't flush them down the toilet when they die. I don't know.
That's true. Wow, that's $350 is an expensive lesson to learn. But no, it is true, of course. Absolutely. Parents take that responsibility. But hey, guess what? Google got your back. New update to the Play Store app that addresses this topic basically. Version 4.6.16 introduces a new option in the require password behavior, always, which if it just kind of would have been there, it empowers the parents to make that decision, right?
Yep.
Because now I can say, no, you're not going to install this. So now you have the option of setting, requiring a password every single time something is attempted to be purchased. One password entry gets you 30 minutes or never, completely unprotected. So now you have the option.
So
and, I think, while I agree that the responsibility lies in the parents, this is a tool that a responsible parent can use to make sure that they're protected.
So this came out a couple of days after the show that we discussed this. Do we think that Google fast-tracked this?
Of course we do. Why wouldn't we?
I'm just saying, never question the influence of All About Android.
But we're a weekly show. Every week we do something and then changes happen.
But this was eerie. This was like 2 or 3 days after we talked specifically about this.
And
all
it
of a
took
sudden
them
there's
2
an
or 3 days because they were fashioning golden invitations to Google I/O for us.
Yeah, I know, that's right.
In the meantime.
Listen,
so.
I'm working on a whisper campaign to increase our importance, all right? Are you guys with me or are you against me, all right?
I'll entertain your dreams too, Ron.
Yeah. A few other notable changes. Batch install in My Apps tab, which I think is awesome.
Very cool.
Even better, because this has annoyed me to no end. Removing apps from My Apps no longer takes you all the way to the top after each time that you do it. Because if you go through your list and you've got a ton of apps, I don't know how many times I'm going there, like, I just don't need to look at these anymore. I want to remove them from my list. You go all the way down, find that one, get rid of it, and it pops you at the top. And you have to go down and wait for it to refresh. And oh, so annoying. The little things, but man, they make a big difference. So there you go.
It's the little things.
It is.
Good updates. Good updates.
Like flying too close to the sun. Let's hop into the arena.
So many enter, but only one lives. Android Arena.
There's that sun.
Last week, we had 4 apps in the arena. Episode 152, Notifications Plus comes out on top.
Not surprised.
Bravo, Gina. That was yours, right?
Yeah, that was mine. I needed a win.
Oh, man. It was
Thanks, everybody.
It was close between Notifications Plus and Smash Hit. That was mine at 35%. So 4% difference between those. What's up, Ron?
I'd like to note something going on in the chat room as Wade County is now keeping track of the arena wins. And so far through week 10 of 2013, Jason and I are tied with 2 wins. Gina has 3 wins, and our guests have 3 wins. So
wow, it's a pretty
the competition is back.
Apparently,
thanks to Wade County in a mere 4 weeks. We're going to be at each other's throats. I know how this goes.
Yes, we've done this once before when Eileen was on the show.
And it was Tech
every
Ace,
week.
wasn't
yes,
it?
it was Tech Ace in the chat room, always keeping track of where it was at, and things got vicious.
This is dangerous, Wade County. This is dangerous.
I know.
Yep. Just saying.
I think Wade County's all right with it.
So Wade, you think about the power you're wielding right now as you're counting those apps.
Well, there we go. Okay, so let's see here. That would mean that Gina, you go last. Ron, you go first, right?
I go last because 5x was Tony's, right? So I came in last amongst us.
That's right.
Okay, cool. So this app that I have kind of picks up on a theme that we were talking earlier about, the Amazon and the Amazon set-top box and Gina talking with Google Voice and that sort of thing. There are a lot of things you can do with your phone that we can do because we sit there and we hack at them and we're geeks and we like to play with them, whatever. But I like it when an app kind of takes those concepts and make it easier for just any regular user to possibly do it. This is an app called Agent. And what made me impressed by it was that it takes 5 specific things that we could do with other apps or with Tasker or other things like that, and just put them all in together in one app for no rhyme or reason. But they're all together, and it works pretty nicely. So when you open it up, basically. When you open it up, it shows you, and it says, Agent is a collection of 5 utilities that will make your phone smarter. Just so you know, just to note, I have it installed on my phone. I've been using it for the past couple of days, so I've been testing it in the real world, but I put it on my tablet just to kind of make it bigger so you guys can see it. So you hit Let's Get Started, and basically what Agents has done is it's taken these 5 specific utilities and made them just really easy to configure, to set up, and then to use. So, for example, there are 5 agents. One is a battery agent, one is a sleep agent, one is parking, one is meetings, and one is driving. All right? So when you tap on the battery agent, what it will do is it will basically tells you what it is. It will conserve your battery when you need it most, and it starts when your battery runs low. There's a great little how it works button that explains what it does. So what the app will do is it will detect when your battery goes below a certain threshold and switch off all non-critical functions when the battery gets below that level, that threshold that you set. It will pause auto sync. All right. It will dim the screen to save battery and will turn Bluetooth on and off. So that's really, really simple. A lot of people have a hard time with battery control, and not everybody has that ability to figure it out, how to really, fine tune their battery. So with this little slider, you can set the trigger percent. And so right now it's set to 10%. I can set it to 20% or 30, whatever. And it will update the settings. It gives you some more settings. So you can, if you want to get pretty detailed in what it does, so you can say, disable when charging, or disable auto sync, or don't disable auto sync, or turn off Bluetooth, or turn off Wi-Fi, dim the screen, what level to dim it to. So it gives you that added little level of control. What it also does is it keeps track of your activity, and I'll show you guys this later because I have more activity on my phone than on the tablet. But so it'll keep track of what it's doing, and then finally there's a little switch where you can turn it on or off. So really simple, nice design, makes it really easy. The sleep agent, what it will do is we click how it works, it will basically utilize a time and adjust your phone when it thinks you're sleeping. So it defaults to 11 p.m. to 7 a.m., and what it will do is it will turn off your ringer, and it will disable any notifications. It won't wake you up at all. And then at 7 a.m., it can work with your alarm clock or work on its own to wake you up. But what's also interesting is that Sleep Agent can, if someone tries calling you during the time where you're sleeping, you can have an option where you text the person to let them know, hey, I'm sleeping, I'll get back to you tomorrow. So it will do an auto SMS message, which is kind of a neat functionality. So when you configure it, you can adjust the times that it's doing, and you can also pick specific people who can wake me. So if I need to talk to Jason 24/7. So if he calls, let that call get through, but everyone else don't wake me. You can say whether phone calls or text can wake you, and then you can also edit the auto auto text message and a whole bunch of other features. Further down the line, parking, it will remember where your parking spot is. Right? Again, I don't know why sleeping and parking are together, but it will totally remember where your parking spot is and tell you where it is. It will store your location and then help you find it. During meetings, similar to kind of what we do at Tasker and things like that, it will utilize your calendar in your Google account to detect when you have a meeting, and then you can configure how your phone behaves during that meeting. So you can adjust to whether it will silence the phone or switch it to vibrate, or what calls and what texts can get through, and that sort of thing. And then finally, when you're driving, it can automatically detect when you're moving. It uses Bluetooth to detect that. And then it can receive SMS messages, read them aloud, and then allow you to respond to them by voice. So it gives you, a little more safety settings when you're driving and that sort of thing. So again, these are 5 kind of power tooly type agents that can help you optimize your phone to get the most use out of it. That really I don't want to say dumbed it down, but made it really simple for the average user to use. So it's free in the Google Play Store. It just impressed me with the design, the kind of clear, kind of very nice, clear design. And here, if I will show you quickly on my phone, I've been using it today. And under that activity, so you see meetings, it's detected that a meeting has started because I have a meeting for the show. But if you look at my activity, it picked up 3 hours ago, a meeting started. 6 hours ago, a meeting finished. 7 hours ago, a meeting started. So it's tracking all the stuff that it says it's tracking. Currently, right now, it's silenced my phone. If I want to stop silencing it, I can just undo it, and it will say a little notification here, meeting agent has finished. Really, really neat. Really nice. So, agent. So there you go. So if there's someone in your life who's a middle-of-the-road user who would like a little more control over their phone, suggest agent. It's really easy to use, and it doesn't require rooting. It doesn't require any deep, kind of settings, lists of settings and that sort of thing. It just kind of works. So there you go. Agent.
All right. Agent.
Nice.
Excellent. So that is Agent, and it's free in the Play Store. Fantastic. All right. Mine is a Chromecast app. It's called My Cast Screen. It's 99 cents. And I wanted to show it off live with the Chromecast. We were working with it before the show started, and we could not, for the life of us, get it to work. So I can show off the app itself on what you set up on the device, and then there's actually a screenshot on the Play Store that we can show off once we want to know kind of what it looks like. So what is My Cast Screen? Essentially, My Cast Screen is a way to change the Chromecast waiting screen to something useful. So normally a Chromecast waiting screen, which I have to admit has beautiful photos and it shows the time, that's really about it. What My Cast Screen allows you to do is to set that to something that could be kind of parked there at all time and giving you information that's maybe pertinent to your day. So you can set a location a zip code in this regard for your weather. You can also set that for traffic. You can pull in a custom RSS feed because it has a newsreader component to it to give you headlines and kind of a little bit about each of the stories, essentially. You can customize the background image that appears behind all of this information. And then you can, set a few different things, like the style of clock. Do you want 12 or 24-hour weather units? And what do you want to show on the screen at any time? Do you want the news and you don't need the clock? Do you want the weather, don't need traffic? All that kind of stuff. Now, my cast screen is just kind of interesting, right? You load it up, and if you show the Play Store, it'll give you kind of an example of what it ends up changing the screen to. So this ends up being the screen, your Chromecast screen, when it's waiting for something while this has been sent to your Chromecast. So it just kind of gives you everything. You can see the feed on the right-hand side. That actually updates and kind of cycles through things as it goes through. But if you happen to leave your TV on all the time or whatever, and you just want something more useful than just the time up there, this is one way to do that. And the developer does have some interesting plans, rearranging sections so you can kind of change the layout, image slideshow widget, stock ticker, custom refresh times, extended weather forecast, traffic for specific routes, and more, all coming soon. But this is just kind of the starting point of my cast screen. And I don't know, it's something that I've wanted to do since I got the Chromecast. I'm like, why am I always parked on this slideshow of images that I have no control over? I want some control over it. So this is one way to do it. The one thing that I didn't check actually before coming to air is whether if I send something else to the Chromecast and then it's done, if it goes back to this. I don't believe it does. So you'd have to activate this in order to send it over again and have it parked on that information screen. But that's pretty darn easy to do. So, I hope to see more of this kind of stuff. What I would love to see out of Chromecast is some way to change the default images that it flips through to like a Google Plus photo book, one of your photo albums from Google Plus. And maybe Musical Bigfoot, who's the developer of my cast screen, can work on that. So there's an idea for you. But my cast screen, it's 99 cents for your Chromecast. And it's just a way to change what the Chromecast parks on before you send content to it. Kind of cool stuff.
Very cool.
Nice.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so Kevin, I have hopefully downloaded the rest of the pack. It's been happening in the background. I launched it while Ron was doing his, and I was like, oh man, I forgot to.
It's a big download.
Yeah, I forgot to download this beforehand. So if I can't show it off, we'll show off screens, but I'm going to try and launch it right now. Go for it.
Sure. Well, I'm going to go old school here because I'm shocked that Real Racing 3 has never been in the arena. It is from February of 2013, and if you like driving games, I think it's among the best. I play this a lot because for two reasons. One, it's free. It is a freemium model, and EA will kind of pester you to buy upgrades and things like that. But I found a way around that. I'm actually getting through the entire game without paying a dime. And I have a personal goal of getting a gold medal in every event. I don't even go to the next event until I get a gold medal. So I play this thing a lot, and I haven't paid a dime yet. The other reason I've been playing this so much lately, not just because it's a great game from a graphics standpoint, it performs pretty well on any device that's at least a year old. I have the Moto X, it runs really well. I'm actually using this game to learn the tracks, and the reason I do that is because we have an Xbox One, and it uses mostly the same tracks. So I get to know these tracks and figure out the right lines on my phone in 5 minutes here and there, and then I go hardcore on the Xbox One. So a couple tips here if you don't want to pay for any of the upgrades and such. Once you have multiple cars, if you need to upgrade a car, instead of paying to speed it up, just let it happen naturally. If it takes 5-10 minutes, get another car, go race a different race with that other car. And also by multiple engineers and people that can fix your cars. You can have a car in the garage being fixed while you're racing another car. So I'm all around getting around the freemium model, and Real Racing 3, I absolutely love it. I would love to see them come out with a version that now would let me race against my friends on iOS too, because Google Play Services will certainly allow that. I don't know if EA will add that on, but I absolutely love it. So Real Racing 3, again, it's old school, but there's a reason I've been playing it lately, and that's to get to know the tracks on the Xbox One on Forza 5.
Yeah, and it's really, I play this sometimes when I'm testing out a device because it's a good way to kind of test the performance on a device and everything, even though I really suck at it. And apparently I really suck at it while the show's
Well, it's hard.
going.
It's hard to play
hard
when
for
you're
the
watching
camera.
it through the monitor.
Yeah, I
It
know,
does,
and I'm like
yeah.
angled
Holding
down
at
here
an
trying to get
angle,
into the
yeah.
camera, and okay, apparently I suck.
You'll be
But-
able to play it on your Google Watch soon. Don't worry.
yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. While you're driving. There you go. That is Real Racing 3, Electronic Arts. Great game. And yeah, it looks like a console gamer as well. So it's just really well done. Completely agree. All right. Now, Gina, man, you took one that I was considering, but I'm happy that you did because it deserves to be here.
I had to do it.
Yeah, I understand.
My pick tonight is called Dehumanize Your Friends! Exclamation point. Yes, you heard me right. This is a basic party game for horrible people like me and you. This is a game that's based on Cards Against Humanity, if you've heard of that. But what's cool about Dehumanize Your Friends is that it's a Chromecast game. Of course, you expected no less from me. I love the Chromecast. And so in order to play Dehumanize Your Friends, you need at least 2 players, but I got to tell you, you should have at least 3. That's my opinion. And a Chromecast, okay? Now, if you go to Dehumanize Your Friends in the Play Store and you look through the screenshots, which is what Brian's doing right now, you'll notice that there's not a lot there. That's because this game is just full of naughty, not safe for work, not safe for the Play Store words and phrases. So they can't actually show you what it looks like. And I apologize. We actually don't have a demo set up because most of these words and phrases are also not safe for AAA. So let me just tell you how it works. So you invite your friends over. They've got their Android phones. It's Android only right now. You load up Dehumanize Your Friends, everybody on their own phone. Free app. You cast, you tap the cast buttons. This is a Chromecast app. You need a Chromecast in the room in order to play it. Everybody connects to the Chromecast. Everyone's got a different player name. So what happens is really, really simple. Basically what a Mad Lib comes up. It's a sentence with a couple of words missing or a word or a phrase missing. And then everybody on their phone gets to choose the dirtiest fill-in for that blank space in that sentence from a set of choices on their phone. They tap their choice, and then all the different possibilities, the ways to complete that sentence. And again, these are really really funny, but really horrible, dirty words and phrases go up on the screen. And then somebody in the room is designated as the king or the judge. And that person gets to choose which is the funniest completion for that sentence. So they can see all the ones that the players chose. They don't know who chose, and they pick the best one, and that person gets a point. And then the next round, someone else is a judge. So you rack up points by picking the most sort of creative and funny endings to the sentences. It all happens on the big screen. It's fun. It's funny. It's very similar to Cards Against Humanity. In fact, the material is actually the words and phrases from Cards Against Humanity, which was Creative Commons licensed. So this isn't a ripoff. This was material that was sort of licensed for reuse. So Dehumanize Your Friends isn't doing anything wrong. But you can play the Cards Against Humanity deck. And also Dehumanize Your Friends is built so that anybody can create their own deck. And eventually, this isn't happening yet, but there'll be like community written decks. Maybe it's like Cards Against Humanity in Klingon, or I don't know, some sort of, TV show themed or whatever. You could play those different decks and Dehumanize Your Friends. So Dehumanize Your Friends actually used to be called, and when I say used to be, I mean like a week ago, it used to be called something like Casts Against Civility.
Yep.
And the Cards Against Humanity folks asked them if they could rename the app to make it a little different from Cards Against Humanity, to make it seem like a separate thing. So that's why it's called Dehumanize Your Friends.
Yeah, and it wasn't
it's
purple.
really
it was the same kind of black against white
Right.
color.
They Helvetica, they used the design.
It looked very similar.
It looked extremely similar, yeah.
Which was
they reached out to
confusing.
him.
Which was
Sure.
Yes.
So it sounds like it wasn't a problem. They just.
But hey, maybe this guy needs to work for Cards Against Humanity because he created a great kind of app representation of it. And Cards Against Humanity was a Kickstarter, right?
Yeah.
I believe it started.
Was it a Kickstarter?
Yeah, it started as a community thing.
Yeah.
And
It's almost like a
multi-million-dollar business now.
it was a bootstrap effort in the beginning. I'm surprised they didn't offer this guy a job to do their mobile development. But absolutely love this approach, and I want to find some friends to play this with.
Oh, it
'cause
was
I've
financed.
actually-
it was financed through Kickstarter. How about that?
I've never actually played Cards Against Humanity, but I've heard a lot about it. And
It's a lot of
sounds like
fun.
a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun.
I haven't either, but I feel like everyone I know has played except me. And Cards Against Humanity, you can download a PDF of all of the cards. You can print them out yourself. You don't even have to buy a deck if you don't want. But Dehumanize Your Friends is really, really fun, really cool. I really like it because I think it's a clever and interesting use of the Chromecast. Basically, most uses of the Chromecast are just streaming audio or video, or maybe looking at a website or pictures up on your screen. But this is straight just party game up on a big screen. And again, all your friends have to have Android phones. You have to have a Chromecast in the room, and you need about 3 people. Really, you can play with 2 people. It's not as fun because one or the other is the judge, right? So it's you kind of know who chose what words and stuff. But yeah, it's fun. It's free. It's early. It's in beta. But check it out. Dehumanize Your Friends!
Exclamation point. Fantastic. And yes, and I love seeing this so early on in the Chromecast kind of thing, the Chromecast saga, because man, just imagine taking board games and putting them into the Chromecast world and doing the control through your phone and having it refresh the screen for everybody that's involved. I think this is the beginning of what could be a really interesting kind of way to play party games through the Chromecast. So very, very cool stuff. All right, so now's your chance to vote for your favorite app this week. Is it Agent? Is it My Cast Screen? Is it Real Racing 3 or Dehumanize Your Friends? Vote at AAApoll.com/153. That's AAApoll.com/153. Let us know what you think. Dehumanize Your Friends coming out on top right out of the gate, but we'll see where this ends up over time.
Come on, horrible people. Come on. Band together. Own it.
Carte
Did I mention
blanche.
there's really dirty words in there?
Yeah,
There's
carte
really
blanche
dirty
to
words
say dirty words. There we go. All right, awesome stuff. Kevin Toffel, it's always a pleasure having you on the show. We have to have you back soon, please.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. Tell people where they can find your work. Where are you online?
Sure. I'm very easy to find as I write every day over at gigaohm.com. You can catch me on Twitter and Google Plus under my real name of Kevin C. Toffel. And Wednesdays, we do a Chrome Show podcast dedicated to all things Chrome. So you can always catch that on GigaOhm as well.
Oh, right on. That's awesome. Cool stuff. So check it out. And Kevin, we'll invite you back. We'll have you on very soon again.
Thanks.
Thank you. Ron, what's the word?
What's the word? The word is, I don't know. I can't be, I'm not good on the spot. You saw when I bombed on NSFW, trying to be improvised.
Yeah, improvisation.
Improvisation is the word.
Yeah.
Find me at about.me/RonXO, where you can find links to my Twitter, my Facebook, and my Instagram, and on Google Plus at google.com/+Ron Richards. My big old noggin. There you go. And if you want to see how witty I am, you can go to ronxo.thinkup.com, and you can see all my tweets that have resonated, which I will admit I do maybe on a daily basis, maybe more than that. I don't know. I'm not going to admit, but our good friend Gina's come up with a great application. So fun times. But you could also go to imagecomics.com, where I work by day, where we're making some great comic books. This week is huge, as you can see here. Next issue is Sex Criminals, which is an awesome comic that everyone should be reading, as well as the graphic novel adaptation of Noah, which is written by Darren Aronofsky, tie-in with the movie, as well as the next volume of Saga. So everybody should check out imagecomics.com. We got digital comics there you can download. So download and own, DRM free.
Wow, your job is so not interesting.
You'd be surprised. You would be surprised.
I am kidding, by the way. That's pretty awesome that you get to do that on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, no, it's very cool. It's very, very cool. And the spreadsheets are just amazing.
Fair enough. I bet they're the most graphically rich, engaging spreadsheets ever.
Numbers. When you're in a spreadsheet and you're doing a calculation and the cell numbers are getting to be 4 or 5 digits, that's when you know that you're really in it. I'm like, wow, okay, so this is the sum of C 4,298 through. But
oh my God.
It's comic books. Yay.
Thankfully, our show notes are never that complicated.
Thankfully.
So. Gina, so Think Up, obviously awesome. Talk about it and tell people where they can find you.
Yeah, I'm working on ronxo.thinkup.com on a daily basis.
It's awesome. I totally use it now to register if I was good or not. Like I say something funny on Saturday night and I go home the next day. I'm like, how many people faved it? Like I'm totally using it. Like so there you go.
Awesome. I'm so happy to hear that. Yes, I'm working on this app called ThinkUp, thinkup.com. We are not quite open to the public yet, but we're literally within a week or two of opening up. We did some sneak previews this week to folks on the waiting list, which went really, really well. If you want to know when we open up to the public, just pop your email address into the waiting list field on the homepage, thinkup.com, and you will be the first to know. We're basically just trying to make social networking kind of more fun. See what waves in the still waters, the little pebbles you throw out onto the internet cause, and Ron causes lots of good waves. And I also host a show called This Week in Google here on the Twit Network that airs on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. You should come watch. Tomorrow it's going to be me and Leo and Jeff Jarvis and I believe Danny Sullivan. So you should come check that out. We chat about Android and Google in the cloud and lots of other good stuff. If you want to see what else I'm up to, you can check out ginatrapani.org.
Fantastic.
Hey, Kevin, you should not feel like an underachiever, as you just said in the chat room. We are just insane people who don't want any free time.
No, I mean, you guys have 3-4 jobs. The chat room's getting on me here. I'm like, I know, I only have one job. I'll go deliver pizzas tomorrow. Where do I go for the pizza?
Or wait a minute, maybe I'll just eat pizzas tomorrow.
That works too.
Right on. Brian, you, earlier I thought you almost didn't have a job, but apparently you will be our technical director, just not next week.
You know why I still have a job?
Why?
Because I can do this. Wait, hold on. It always takes me a second.
Except you can blow the you can
every time. Okay, here we go.
Oh.
That gets me every time.
That is definitely why you still have a job.
Yeah,
this right
that's a
here,
talent.
this visual gag for anyone listening. Apparently, you just had to watch the show to find out.
Or not have a job after tonight. But yeah, so anyway, you can find me at cranky_hippo on Twitter or hosting on Know How. We do cool projects like you mentioned earlier with Raspberry Pi and all sorts of other stuff. So yeah.
Fantastic stuff. Thank you, Brian.
You're welcome.
We will miss you next week. You can find me at about.me/Jason Howell, my musical exploits at Yellow Gold Music, and I don't know what else, about.me/Jason Howell, whatever, it's all there. That is it for this week. Thank you so much for joining us once again for this episode of All About Android. Leave us a voicemail. Be a part of the show. It's 347-SHOW-AAA. You can also send us an email at AAA@twit.tv. Find us on Twitter. We're at Android Show. We're also on Google+. We have a community there, which is very, hopping all the time. So it's a lot of fun to be a part of that. Reddit is twitaaa.reddit.com. You can find our show notes and past episodes at twit.tv/AAA. Comprehensive show notes. Check it out. Also, our episodes are on YouTube and iTunes. And finally, you can catch us live every Tuesday, starting at 5 p.m. Pacific, live.twit.tv. That is it for this week. We'll see you next week on another episode of All About Android.